Hello, everyone. Welcome. Damn it, it did not get Melissa's name in there, but that's all right. Substack was being a pain in the ass on us tonight. Um, Welcome, everyone. It is Banner and Backbone. We're bringing a special report. I'm Nick Perro, joined by an incredible panel of guests tonight. Um, and so I'm going to list off some quick names here because they're going to be hard to see, hard to read because they are small if you are not on a full screen. So I'm going to list off some names, get some introductions real quick from everybody. Tell us where you're from, what you do, and then let's get into it. We're going to be talking about how we can focus our efforts and get into real sustained protesting, and how we can target weak Republicans and even weak Democrats to actually start doing the shit we need them to do instead of being feckless, spineless pieces of crap. So, everyone, I'm Nick Perro. I am Sick of This Shit Productions or Publications and Banner and Backbone co-founder. You all know me. It's great to see everyone smash that heart and join in. Next, we've got Shane Urich. Introduce yourself real quick, brother.
Hey everybody, my name is Shane Urich. I am the founder of the Firebrand Project, a contributor on Banner and Backbone, and a great friend of almost all of the people here, and soon to be friends with these two fine fellas that are joining us, Zev and Dean. But I am just like the rest of the folks here. I'm a guy who loves democracy and is just like Nick. I'm sick of this shit. I write about it, I yell about it, and I'm stoked to be here.
Thanks, Shane. And next we got Sherrod Swaney.
Hi, my name is Sherrod Swaney. I'm the co-director of Senate America. Senate America is a 501c4 organization defending democracy, resisting authoritarianism, and giving back resources to the people. For us at Senate America, it's all about creating grassroots organizing and connecting it to sustained civic impact. Gavin?
Well put. I'm the other co-director of Senate America. I'm Gavin. I'm from New Mexico, and I'm so glad to be here with all you amazing people. Can't wait to get into the conversation today.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
Hi, I'm Melissa Corrigan. I am super excited to be with all of you. I have loved doing lives with Shane and Sherrod and Gavin, and I'm so looking forward to meeting these guys. I'm with Counterstory Media. So our tagline is we exist to audit the narrative. So we tell the stories that others won't. And I've been doing deep dive investigative reporting on the flock safety case here in Norfolk, Virginia, as well as the Letitia James case, among others. So that's what I've been up to.
And then we welcome our two fantastic extra guests tonight. We have our
extras. You hear that?
we have the talent coming on tonight. We have, as I've been asked to call, Dev or Dean Blundell, who is the Silver Fox and host of the Dean Blundell Show, and does some amazing work. Is a great friend from Canada. Dean, can you introduce yourself? Other than that,
yeah, actually, it's not my name anymore. I'm Corey Lewandowski. I'm currently with Kristi Noem in Parts Unknown. No, listen, great to be here.
That's not something you want.
I really don't, especially because I love dogs. But listen, I'm from Canada, from Toronto. I'm actually in your neck of the woods this week in beautiful Kissimmee, Florida. And really mixing with my American compatriots who all seem to kind of feel like we don't like this guy either. So I'm wondering if it's a bit of a mirage as I'm down here in the United States of America. But we'll get to that and a few other things and how people can push back. I'm from deanblundell.substack.com. I do a daily podcast every day called The Five Stack with my friend Zev Shalev, who's right underneath me right now. Hey, Zev, underneath me.
Hi, I'm used to being underneath you. It's okay. It's okay. This is where I live.
And is this a bottom-top relationship? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, big time. Just on Substack though. Like it's a lot of man love, but it's digital man
Only
love.
Professional digital man
yeah,
love.
Absolutely, yeah. And I tell you what, it's been the honor of my lifetime to be part of these communities and to connect with wonderful people from around Substack, specifically in the United States. As Canada knows that, and this is why we do what we do. Zev and I, myself, himself as well. We do what we do because we love America, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And so we're really grateful to be spending some time with you, some veterans, some people who also care about this beautiful country that I'm currently enjoying, and really, really grateful to be here. So thanks, guys.
And I'm Zev Shalev. I'm his underling, his extra, whatever you want to call it, his sidekick.
Digital bottom.
Digital bottom. Totally stealing that.
Digital
And
man
also all
love-
your digital
no,
bottoms
wait,
today.
middle-aged
Cheers.
snack.
Yeah, he's another middle-aged snack. His story's crazy though. Zev survived the apartheid. He like literally. Go ahead, Zev. I'm taking all your stuff.
I-
guys.
sorry,
I'm
we're
just excited
interrupting
to be
you.
here with everybody. I work at narrative.org, NARATIV.org, and I'm just happy to be here because I think it's an important conversation you're hosting, Nick, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody because I think there's some good talents and good voices here that I've been looking forward to meeting. So I'm looking forward to this.
Thanks so much, everyone. And I'm so glad you're all here. I know we only have Dean for about another 15 minutes. He's got something he's got to go do here tonight.
20. We can do 20, 25.
20.
We'll mix
we
it.
got-
Yeah.
Ooh, we're gonna.
Well, you're
mix it
just
up
gonna
a little
have to
bit.
deal with my partner. That's the only problem. Is you're gonna have to deal with her as soon as this is done. Melissa, you understand how this works, right?
Hey, that's a choice you are willing to make, and that's up to you, my friend.
All right, buddy. All right.
But let's jump into this. So tonight is really about sustained protest and like how we can actually make an impact outside of No Kings, or as we've called it here, is the Love America rallies, because fuck Donald Trump, you're a piece of shit, and you're building a little penis palace. Instead of the White House, you're going to tear it down, and we need to stop the little penis palace from being built, or a little PP. I know you guys have a little PP in Canada already, but we're going to co-opt that word for Donald Trump's PP palace. And what do you think about sustained movements and how we can actually engage more? And what are you specifically working on? Because I know you are working with some really good folks with like the Save America Project and helping boosting their work. What are you doing to help encourage sustained American civil engagement from across the border? And how
Aside
is your
from yelling at
perspective-
people,
yeah, and how has your perspective changed, maybe a little or less, since you've come to America for the first time in a while?
oh, it's a great question. Listen, I'll deal with that one first because you want to get the good before the bad. And the good is, my God, Americans are so friendly, so lovely. You know, we've been browbeat in Canada with the propaganda that, you know, this place is a shithole, and you know, there's cops everywhere, and when you go to the border, take biometrics off your phone. I had a paranoid travel checklist that I actually went through before I came here. None of those things happened. You know, and not only did none of those things happen, I had a wonderful experience flying into the United States, wonderful experience clearing customs. Now, you know, there's some things to acknowledge there. Obviously, I am not Hispanic. I am not brown. I am not black. I am someone with some means. You know, I have a Nexus card, so you know, people don't check me through. But you know, the truth of the matter is that, you know, my love for America hasn't changed. I think, you know, generally speaking, that is not the sentiment in Canada. And my love for Americans hasn't changed. In fact, being here for the past couple of days has made me realize that, you know, there's this digital sim that the Trump regime wants everybody to live in, this sim of fear, this sim of discouragement, this whole idea that, you know, he's the man and every single person in America is lined up behind him. It's just simply not fucking true. And Americans, by and large, dictated by an experience I'll share with you in just a second, are absolutely dead set against their country becoming, you know, a version of Russia. They're dead set against the crimes against humanities that they see every day. And while that encourages me, it also, you know, gives me pause for thought about what I believe, you know, and what we're all taught and what we're all told to, you know, just kind of, you know, believe in terms of what America is under Trump. And America is not Donald Trump. And I've realized that for the first time in a very long time. And we all operate in these silos. I see some of you in basements. I know I have a basement, and we literally pound content out there because we have a duty to warn. But I will tell you something, and yes, the Canada boycott is real, and yes, I observed it, canceled 3 trips before I came here. This is still the country I remembered it to be. And these are still the beautiful people that, you know, every time prior to the Trump admin, I would come down here. I had a ton of business in the States over the past several years. Every time I come down here, I would come home going, my God, Americans get it. They get how to treat people. They get customer service. They understand, you know, the importance of freedom and democracy. Every restaurant I've been in, it's, hey, hon, can I get you a table? That does not exist in Canada. It just doesn't. There's this friendliness, there's this love, there's this compatriotism. And every person that I've talked to, and I said this to Zev in the Five Stack today, every person I've talked to today has the opinion of probably every person on this panel. It's not my president. That is not my country that he's misrepresenting. We are better than this. So how do you get that back? Interesting, because I was with Stephanie Wilson. Thanks for setting me up with her today, Dr. Steph. She's great.
Oh,
And she asked me the question is can America be saved? And I said, yes, but it's going to require a confluence of things. And the number one thing that I said to her today, outside of Canada and other countries literally coming out and officially condemning the human rights violations in the United States, that's one thing. Outside of that, it's going to require, as my friend Zev, and I'll kind of pass it over to him because I've been yamming for so long and there's so many people here, for people to show up in a sustainable way that they can't ignore, that mainstream media can't ignore, in numbers and ways that really, really, really matter. And once America kind of understands that, better America, and I know better America does with 7 to 8 million people. I actually read a report the other day that said that number was closer to 20 million people, but we'll go with 7 to 8 million people showed up on the weekend, last weekend for the No Kings rally, which was lovely. It was beautiful, but then it went away. That has to continue every day. That has to happen every day. People got to show up every day. And Zev, maybe you could kind of lean into this because you and Lev Parnas on our podcast got into a heated debate about whether the Constitution was even being observed, and then that led itself into a conversation. And Zev was brilliant about why we don't do that, why Americans aren't doing that, why you're not camping out in Lafayette Square, why you're not taking up physical space. And I know there's fear, but maybe Zev, you can kind of lean into that because that's the sacred oath, is it not?
Well, after we had that debate, I went and I was like, am I right actually about all the stuff I was saying? So I went back and did a lot of research on where historically successful movements have been able to dislodge dictators or tyrannical leaders. And in almost every single one of them, they have the sustained presence. It's not like the most famous one in recent times is really Kiev's Independence Square in 2000. And when was that? Anyway, when they dislodged Yanukovych.
2008. There was hundreds of thousands of people didn't move for a month.
Yeah, and this is the whole idea of like occupying a space has become really important for every one of these movements. So that's one of the sort of features that I think is just important for everyone to realize that holding territory, significant territory that the powers that be can see all the time, or that they are constantly aware of, is really important. Which is one of the reasons the Trump regime has put in all these ICE agents and all the attempts to subvert rights in DC. It's all about making sure these protests don't happen because they know it's their one weak link. It's if they have these giant protests developing or a site developing like Independence Square or Maidan Square, then that's a real problem for them. They don't want anyone capturing any territory like that can be the center point of any protest movement. But the other thing that came up was in talking to Olga Lautman, and she's done a lot of research, incredible research into all sorts of things, but it's specific about Ukraine and Russia. One of the things that she pointed out is that it's got to be sustained. It can't be these one-off appearances that you show up once a month, and it's great that 7 million people show up, but if it's not sustained and it's not strategic, it's going to fail. Because even going out there and saying no kings isn't really a good messaging. I mean, we don't really hate all kings. We just want no kings here. And it isn't really saying no about something is a negative versus saying what you're for. And so she recommended that in every one of these protests, and her analysis also proves this, that there's got to be sort of attainable goals. And one of those attainable goals that she threw out, which I think is quite a good one, is like having can we force them to unmask all the ICE agents across the country? Because that's a real attainable, achievable thing that's reasonable, that they can all feel good about too. Like it's one of this, and as a first step, that seemed like a really good idea. And then I tried to rank a whole bunch of others issues that might. And I used AI to rank what the most feasible issues might be. And there's plenty more that we could add to this list. But there's I think if we choose identifiable, easy goals that we can target, that the administration can be forced to step down on, they'll need to do it because they will want to resist. They want to be showing that they're at least paying attention to the people. That way you get one success, and then you can build on that success by getting another success. And in all these analyses, these movements have started out having these clear demands. Some of them have called for brand new elections. I mean, that might be even one of the demands that you could land up putting in. But, they've taken months, and they've taken a lot of organization and a lot of sustained willpower, which means they don't just expect people to show up. They've scheduled people, so they show up in shifts. They build from the grassroots up. They have a very detailed organizing committee that does all sorts of features or functions. But it's an organized thing. It's a sustained, strategic, organized protest that ultimately can achieve all its goals, including toppling the regime, if that's what the goal is.
If I could just get,
I feel like I want to raise my
please,
hand.
Melissa. Yeah. Go
Melissa,
ahead.
I
I'm
wanna hear
taking
this.
over now, just so you know, it's my show. I just want to.
It's the Dean and Zev show.
Well, to speak to that point, I'm like, I feel like we're a pretty average family, a little larger than average family here in America. We have 6 kids. And so for me and my family to be able to mobilize to DC, which we're the closest of anybody in this panel to DC. So we're the closest, and we have traveled to DC 3 times since the inauguration to participate in these activities. So there's a couple of different things that I see happening. Number one is strictly the financial aspect, that a lot of Americans are going to need some kind of financial assistance or assurances to be able to go out and participate in anything that takes them away from their wage earning position. And the second one is a little more complex. And I've been doing activism work since 2000 in America. So I'm a quarter of a century here. And American exceptionalism is wonderful in some ways, and in some ways it hinders progress. And so when you have the idea of American exceptionalism, and you have 4 different grassroots organizations all kind of doing the same thing and yet refusing to work with one another because a little bit of an ego situation comes in there, that's where we're running into the organization issue. Trying to get everybody to work together without somebody needing to get cred from it or get famous from it or be that guy is very difficult, unfortunately, in America. And it undercuts these movements. It's been undercutting these movements as long as I've been doing it.
That's why they suggest using, finding issues that you can build coalitions around. I mean, there is the unmasking of ICE agents is probably a very universal, agreeable issue that people could almost all agree on. So if you tackle this one issue and you try to build a coalition around that one issue, you might find, everyone from libertarian groups to military groups, vet groups, to people who are independent, to all the way across the spectrum. You might find people willing to engage in that, and it takes away from the other organizational challenges you're talking about, because it's really, we're talking about people trying to get people on a grassroots level to organize around one issue, and then seeing if they can all find their way to that location, or a time to that location. To the money issue, this is civic duty. Either you believe in America and you want to do something after your work, because it's not something that replaces your work. It's something that you're going to have to find time, 3 hours a week, 2 hours a week. Maybe you come every other weekend. Maybe you schedule with your colleagues or your friends or whatever. There's some sort of trip sharing mechanism, whatever. But that each individual grassroots sort of node sets themselves up, and then he's responsible for fulfilling a schedule. And it becomes a grassroots movement on its own, but it's all around a single issue.
Yeah, I want to go back. I want to commend you, Zev, on using the word regime. There is still too many people who refer to Trump's tyrannical shit show of a cronyist organization as anything other than what it is, which is absolutely a regime. But you guys are all on the right point here in the sense that you need to have a sustained presence. And Melissa touched on this, and this is the crux of our issue here in America, is the absolutely engineered poverty that is a plague in this country. It is engineered. I cannot even, this needs to be so clear. No one, if you're watching this and you're like, I can't afford it, it's because they did this to you. It's because this has been done on purpose.
Mhm.
You know, there's a reason that 4 million Americans are about to like go hungry, because like they are literally have been on SNAP because they cannot afford food. So the question really we face here is, how do you get someone who has no choice but to work, to eat, to have a sustained presence somewhere? And it comes to this point where we as people who are, we need to strategize beyond what is just happening and what is the scope of historical what's worked in the past. Okay, because like
Right. And
this
our,
isn't, you know, this isn't Rome where you know, if everyone stops and riots, like they can go and throw these guys off of like a cliff and then that'll solve the problem. Like we're not, it's a different time. Like if everyone floods somewhere, we just have, our options are different. If we want to have this type of change, a sustained movement is great. What I have been thinking about a lot is, how do you take that idea of a sustained presence and target the core of the issue, which is money? Okay. The issue is money here. What if you don't need to put 1 million people in a square, but you can get 1 million people to stuff their Amazon cart at the same time and get Amazon to dump $100 million in ad revenue on follow-ups? That hurts them. It's about understanding the battlefield that we are on right now. One of the things is we have to understand our environment. If the corporations bought the government, make the square digital, make it a digital marketplace, because there is millions of people, hundreds, a great majority, a significant portion of my viewership. Maybe they don't have mobility, maybe they're stuck at home, maybe they can't go out. You know what they can do? They can go on their phone. Or when they were tearing down the White House, my firebrands, they stepped up. They flooded the phone lines of McCreary Architecture. They shut them down. They could not take phone calls because of what they did. Their inbox for inquiries was full because of what they did. This is a microscopic example of what could be done. We can't.
And I want to add on to that our geography, because we are such a massive country, a lot of the nations that have experienced success with sustained physical presence are just simply smaller geographically. When we're talking about the type of spread that we have, even if we were to get 1 million people and yet they were split up among 50 different states, it's not really an impressive turnout overall. I mean, you're talking about, I'm personally going to believe those numbers that are around 10, 12 million for No Kings. And yet Fox News and other outlets were still able to downplay it by taking snippets of photos from all the various, things. There weren't 10 million people on the lawn of the White House. You know what I mean? So when we're spread out geographically the way that we are, I think looking at Shane's types of ideas, and we have to go about things differently. We have to hit the finance structures. We have to boycott, because turning up in person in the amount of numbers that we would need to show an actual demonstrable physical presence.
You don't need
impossible.
1 million people. I will say I don't think you need 100,000 people. I just think you need a lot of people to show up there all the time.
I
And it
think,
could be every
and
week.
a focused
Sustainability
and a really
doesn't mean-
focused intention, right?
Yeah.
So-
Sustainability doesn't mean every day either. It could be every week. It could
And-
be
and-
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll wait till you're done and then I'll take over, because it's what I do. I'm a greedy prick.
And then I want to get Sheridan, Gavin in after Dean.
Yeah.
Real quick,
Yeah,
'cause I have
please.
An idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea with them.
I'll just pass because I think I was just going to say it. In Israel, they did every Saturday nights, and it seems to got them a little further than others. It didn't get them all the way, but it's every Saturday night. Everyone showed up in Tel Aviv, and that was big enough to make some change. Not all the change that they wanted, but some of it.
That was physical. Like, we're talking about the physical aspects. You were talking about the. Sorry, Shane, go ahead. What was that?
No, I just wanted to add really quick, because Zev, I don't want it to make it seem like the sustained presence physically is also not a thing. I just both can be true, right?
Oh,
Like,
I love the digital stuff. I love it.
adjust our
There's a great
strategy
campaign.
to tackle all of these things simultaneously.
There was a campaign, I don't remember for whom, but there was some campaign where in Instagram, everyone changed their location to the White House or whatever it was, some other place. But, when you could still GPS change your geolocation on your phones. they just everyone changed their location to being at that the protest point, and they were digitally, considering themselves being present at that location. That works. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump, gets up in the morning, opens his windows in his new palace, and he doesn't see anybody out there, or he sees somebody out there. If he sees a lot of people out there that are growing and growing all the time, demanding things from him, he's going to get nervous. He knows what that means.
Yeah, and he's going to do something
tell you
stupid
that
too.
The DC residents are doing that. Starting November 5th, they're going to be sitting there.
Good.
So
As they should, and outside of the idea that you can't physically get there, and I get the limitations, and Melissa, I think you're bang on, and Shane, you're bang on. I mean, you've got a country that has been engineered to step on the most marginalized people in that entire country continually, and to continually go back to that well to get you to donate to them, to give to them, or else your life's going to be terrible. And they do that through religion. That's an whole other conversation. But one of the things, and you know what, you can look to your northern neighbors for a little bit of sustainable protest advice. This is my first trip. I canceled 3 trips to the United States this year. 3 trips. 30 to 40% of Canadians that had business or travel planned to the United States canceled their trips in the last 10 months. Not only that, we have inflicted in the neighborhood of $7 billion worth of damage to the United States travel economy, food, beverage, conferences. Like I'm here because my partner's at a conference, and she was like, I just don't want to go. And I'm like, well, I'll go. If you have to go, I'll go with you. And she's like, but that breaks your boycott. I'm like, oh, no worries, because your company's paying. So we're good. It has nothing to do with me. But, that kind of presence, that focused energy, that idea that an entire country, because you got, 350 million people in the United States of America? We're 41 million. We've inflicted $7 billion worth of damage on Trump's economy. And you have ambassadors like Pete Hoekstra running up and down the hallways screaming at us, calling us a bunch of fucking nasty losers. That was yesterday. Because we actually are standing up for Americans. We're standing up for patriots. We're standing up for you. We want you to get your country back. And that's our way of doing it. Yes, the annexation piece didn't really tickle our fancy. Yes, the tariffs were a pain in the ass, and that's our way of pushing back. But I don't see why Americans don't target, specifically Better America, target a specific industry, whether it's a general strike on purchasing, whether it's a general strike physically where you're not going to work. That's what America can do without physically having the ability to do it, or physically having the time or the money or the energy to do it, because that's what we're doing here. Do we like paying a little bit more for groceries? Probably not. But there's this incredible sense of pride here in Canada, where, in Canada, what we do is when we see American products on the shelves, we turn them upside down. Like we just do that ourselves now, right? We turn those products upside down. So when you walk by that aisle, everybody knows that, if there's a sneaky grocery store that has decided to
do this, Dean. Do you
oh yeah, yeah, for sure I do.
It seems so Canadian
I'm
to
a
me.
petty
Never
dick.
seen it.
Yeah. I'm one of them
I
petty
grew up
dicks.
near Canada. Just you guys, this seems so Canadian to me. It's just, yeah.
Oh, it's super Canadian. But that's the same kind of pride that Americans need to have, and the same kind of energy they need to take into a digital campaign or a focus campaign, to your point, because like some people just can't show up. And I want to shut up right now and pass it over to Nick, because we got a couple people that have just sat there looking at us like, hey, dude, when are you going to shut the fuck up?
So we've got Gavin. So we've got Gavin and Sharon, who are probably the nicest of the 4 of us, or of the group of us here, and won't interrupt
Thanks,
like
Nick.
we do. But you guys run an incredible organization that we work closely with right now, and we do a show every day. We had a show this morning, and we talk about a lot of civic engagement and civic action. And one of the things we talked about is how we can expand online together in a group and build network platforms that don't already exist. Like Midas Touch, they're too big. We're not them. We're not going to have millions and millions and millions of subs immediately. But we can share with each other. We can build each other's networks and do subscriber shares and reciprocal subscriber bases and things like that. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that, Sheridan and Gavin, and then Dean and Zev, what you guys think too on that type of idea, in terms of like Banner and Backbone is a media network that if we shared subscriber bases into and did agreements with each other and be very transparent. Like I'm telling everyone on this show that's going to watch it and watch it later, this is what we want to do. So if you don't like it, obviously, please let us know. But we would like to do this so that we can build a fucking network fast for y'all and be a digital space to promote that. But also, Sherrod, Gavin, how do you guys fit in with that with Centered America, and what can you guys do to use your platform to help influence this?
Yeah, so I really liked what Dean was saying about him coming into the States and how it still feels inviting. There's still that American energy that still feels wholesome, and that energy is still there. It just needs to be organized in the correct way. It needs to be based on hope, creating those one-on-one connections, those relationships. And that's what we're doing here on Substack and with social media advocacy, is that we're actually building relationships with the subscriber base. They are the people that are organizing. We're seeing that in campaigns like Zoran Mamdani's campaign. It is the people. 90% of his donor base was small dollar contributors. And so we want to build a stronger base, work together, make sure that we're creating those one-on-one connections, not just collecting names, but also building communities. And that's what's so important right now, especially with the social media sphere, but especially grassroots organizing. Gavin?
Yeah, Centered America was built on this idea of, reconnecting this country because it's so divided. And I like what Melissa said, specifically targeting the size, the mass of this country is huge. And there is a lot of struggles that we continue to run into when it comes to organizing in such a large country. But, through the organization and through the protests that we've already seen through No King's Day, the consistency is key here, right? It's consistently going on a specific day and continuously showing up. And from the first No King's Day to the second one we've just had the past couple of weekends here, it gets larger and larger every single time I attend. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to see, and we like to see at Centered America, because we know that we're doing something right when more and more people are showing up consistently. And like what Sherrod said, it's important. It's about the people. This country is built on the people, not the people that run it. It's a bottom-up system that we're trying to foster here. And, Centered America, we pride ourselves in doing physical change. We do our best to help out those who are needed the most. And, we maintain strong, visible presence at many community organizations and demonstrations, including No Kings. And oftentimes with my team here, we provide free snacks, free waters, free anything, free information to get people engaged and to get people continuously coming back and being curious and being intellectually curious about what this country is going through right now.
And not only that,
collaborate with many different local organizations, and other partner nonprofits, including Banner and Backbone. That ties exactly what we're talking into right now is developing this community that's larger than ourselves. And we're able to do that through sub-sharing and, sharing information with each other like we're doing right now on the live. It's super important. And just to touch on a little bit of what we're actually doing right now, Centered America has been able to raise $30,000 since our inception. And that goes directly back to the people who need it the most in our communities. Currently, we're working on, creating community relief packages for veterans, homeless vets, and marginalized communities. And it's through the support, it's through the community, the digital community, Shane, that we're able to foster online that gives us perpetual motion that actually creates change.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that point too, that sustained piece that you were talking about the care packages and things like that. One of the things we keep talking about and people keep saying in the show is or in the chat is we don't have money, we can't do it. We're all broke. We can't afford to protest. Well, this is the way, right? Is this a place that we can provide those care packages, those abilities? We've seen it with Sherrod and Gavin so far with the amount that they've been able to raise. But Zev, Dean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that groups like Save America, yourself, can help participate in those types of things to build up larger care packages? Because I don't know what's happening with some networks that have a lot of money and they aren't always using it. That's in a very visible and transparent way. But the American people, and I know some Canadians, are really, really asking for like real action and like the actual sustained involvement, but the financial aid. And we're also afraid of the word like support for financial support for protests.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that a little bit and how we can break through that?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Zev, because I'm going to have to back out here in just a second. I got to take off. But listen, protest, support, two really big ambiguous words: protest and support. How do you protest? How do you support? Right? No matter what you have or don't have, your thumb still works. Everybody's got a smartphone, right? Protesting is hammering those hearts if you don't have any money to donate to Senator America, Banner and Backbone, if you can't afford a sub. Sharing this, hitting that little box in the corner with the arrow and sending that out, that's another form of protest, another form of support. Those are really like I'm underscoring the importance of that. Subscribing here for free. I don't ask anybody for anything. You're more than welcome to come and pay for a subscription. I love the fact that you do. And I said this before because I had a conversation with a friend of mine who works at a magazine. I'm like, magazine still exists? I said, he's like, yeah, it's an online magazine. And he's like, it's I look at subscriptions like it's grifting. And I said, you know what? I don't. I look at subscriptions like it is the ultimate fucking compliment. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because someone is willing to pay me for my time. Someone is willing to give me their email address, which now is so important, right? For my time, for my view, for my energy, for whatever it is that I mean to them. That is the ultimate compliment. And I said this to my friend too, which is me. I get into the mud a little bit. And I'm like, someone pays you for that. No one's paying you to hear what you have to say. You're being paid to do something for a brand. And that brand is what brings people in. So you're far more useless at this than I am. And what people don't understand is the importance of that support on these platforms and the importance of connecting those subscribers, that data, that information, and the importance of an aggregated response, even just in the fucking form of this Substack Live. And the fact that there are so many people watching this right now, and the fact that we get thousands of people that watch and share and subscribe and millions of page views, those facts are protest facts. Those facts are support facts where communities continue to grow and build. And so to the strategic point that the two beautiful young gentlemen, and by the way, you guys are very young and I'm jealous, these two beautiful young gentlemen from Senator America are talking about, the strategy behind it, but they're also talking about the importance of taking that strategy and using it to support the community. That community exists in as much as we protest and support each other every time we share, like, subscribe, every time we tell everybody that, hey, I got Shane Urak from Firebrand today. And by the way, I love Shane. I said that to him before. I'm like, Shane, you're one of the great writers on the planet, dude. You're fucking awesome. So is everybody on this platform right now. Everybody in here is professional grade. And the second that the world realizes they can't trust mainstream media anymore, which, by the way, I don't know how long, I don't think we ever could have. But you have no idea the importance that you play in just being able to show up, because a lot of people can't do this. A lot of people don't want to put their face on a camera. A lot of people don't want to put their words on a piece of paper. And you guys are heroes, specifically because you're doing it in the United States of America. So before I take my leave, protest by supporting every single one of these gentlemen and women that are on this podcast. Protest by sharing their content. Protest and support by not only sharing, but subscribing, free or paid, it doesn't matter. Because this is where America comes alive. It's this bubbling underneath the surface of so many people that have said, as to Zev's point, this is my fucking civic duty. I got a duty to warn. I got a duty to inform. I've got a duty to come alongside my neighbors, no matter what color their skin is, no matter where they're from, because I love my country and this is my identity. And you're about to lose it. I don't think you will, but it sure looks like it is. And so that protest and support in these menial, might think they're menial little ways, whether it's $8 a month for a subscription, a yearly subscription, whether it's sharing, whether it's subscribing, doesn't matter what it is. Those little micro protests, everybody can do it because we don't ask for anything. All we ask for you to do is to share the truth with people. And that's what all of these gentlemen and Melissa, by the way, that's what they all do every day. And I couldn't be more proud to be on this podcast. I want to thank you guys for having me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks so
We
much,
appreciate it.
Dean. Appreciate you so much.
Really
And
appreciate the kind words.
And
All
I'll
right,
see you
good.
again soon, Dean.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on with us. I'm going to bring us back to our other screen here. And
Yeah, do it, and then take it easy on Zeb for the rest of the podcast because he looks like he's.
oh, we'll
Looks-
try. We'll try, Dean.
Look like what?
He looks like what? That
Left
that
me
was a
hanging.
mid drop. Left you hanging, Zeb.
And,
But I
and
mean,
going back to his
yeah,
point,
go
it's
ahead,
like
Sharon.
we never ask like for paid subscriptions other than, if you can, you are able to, but you don't have to, because those free subscriptions matter. That community is what matters the most here. And of course we appreciate it so much, and it helps us get out that action. It helps us get out tangible items for the people, keeps us going, keeps those resources going, helps us be able to put out our newsletters every day. But it's the community that matters the most. It's the support from all of you that are building these communities up and making sure that we thrive and that we're able to fight back efficiently.
You guys have built a great organization, and it's fantastic that you're doing it in the way you're doing it. And just to everyone's, maybe I can put put all this together in one sort of idea. There is a giant gap in American politics right now about the middle of the country, the sensible, moderate, centered political space that is, maybe it's independent, maybe it's less conservative Republicans, maybe it's less liberal Democrats, but there is a giant waiting, void waiting to be filled in this space. And I just believe if you can observe that and you can see that exists, all these other ideas really fall into it. Sustained protests that don't come from an extremist point of view. They don't come from the extreme sides of the political spectrum. They come from the middle, from the common sense, moderate Americans that, really support modern common sense thinking. It's so easy to see how you can build networks on top of that, how you can build organizations, how you can build sustained protests through that. It just takes people to do it. Now, I know you guys have started something like that, and it's great, but it's the more you can do in that world, the more direct organizing you can do it. I still believe these sustained physical processes are very, very important to beating the system. Shane, earlier on, you're talking about the poverty issue. It's going to get worse.
Oh my God, yeah.
This is good times compared to what's about to happen once the economy crashes, once the US dollar starts tanking. I mean, there's a real nightmare scenario coming our way, and not only for America, but for the whole world, but particularly America, because of what Donald Trump is doing with his tariffs and all that. We are really facing a very difficult financial situation for everybody. So yeah, you can live in your poverty, or you can fight the system. And in some ways, fighting the system from the extremes, we know is not going to work, but fighting the system from the middle, where there is a lot of people who are frustrated as anything with this government, and frustrated with anything by Donald Trump's regime and his, building a palace, is literally building a palace, with the White House is. And we need to try and, harness those voices and give them a place to go to. I don't think they have a place to go to right now. They sort of are terrified at home, scared to go out, scared to protest. A lot of the time they're spending on social media, but that's not going to be good enough. The oligarchs control all the data. They can control exactly what's popular and what's not popular. I'm
gonna bandwagon on your idea because you just said something perfect. The oligarchs control all the data. Not only do they control all the data, but all their data farms. This is a statistic I love to say because it's 51% of internet traffic is bots, not people. So you get on the internet at any given time, you are already outnumbered by groks. There is a swarm of angry groks everywhere you go. And this is one of the things where, these people, they feel alienated. I always say there is less Trumpers than you think.
Oh, yeah.
And if there was a lot, now there's barely any, because this is how I deal with them. And even if they are real, if I see a comment, let's clearly, pro Trump or whatever, I say, back to bot school, comrade. Whether you're made of a brain and you're a human being, or you're a piece of code, you sound the same to me, right? And it's one of those things where we have to understand the space we're in, and that they are actively trying to, our digital presence is under siege. And now they have that Sora level ability to create human-esque AI that emulates people, that looks like people. I started a YouTube, but what I did is because I was curious, I let it take me down the MAGA rabbit hole, which was way too easy, by the way, way too easy. I didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
It pretty much, I clicked on 2 videos and YouTube took me right there. I didn't have to search anything. It was recommended. I clicked on 2 things. But you see all of these new YouTube channels with, I don't know, 10,000 followers, 10,000, 5,000, 4,000 subscribers, 300 views. And they're like people, but they're in like a studio, and they're like usually like, there are a lot of times they're like different ethnicities. Like you see a Hispanic guy like promoting ICE, and you're like, what the fuck? Like in like a fancy studio. And then the next thing I see is like, a black guy, like who's like talking up Trump. Like, he's been super fair, like, and all the things about like him handling rent in New York City when he was like younger was like, it's all fake news, right? Like these are not people, but we are actively fighting in the information space right now. Like this is a sustained conflict between real people and the oligarchs who have data farms that flood the internet with bots, and they're in charge of the platform. If they want to get rid of the bots, you have to submit a ticket to them for them to take the account down. But if it's Grok's bot and you're asking Grok to take down the bot,
it's a mirage. You're absolutely right. It's Schrodinger's cat. It doesn't exist. And that's why I think physical protests are really unbeatable, because they can't match that.
yes,
They can't pretend to have the millions of people out there, but the masses, the majority of Americans can show up, I think, and they will show up at the end of the day, because there's a point of no return where this government is just so awful that you can't get democracy back, and we're getting to that point. So the urgency around it is important, but also the reality of having a physical presence is unbeatable by them. They know that.
I think
But
that
I've
was,
also
oh, go ahead, Melissa.
I've also explored in a couple of conversations recently, because I've worked in the nonprofit sector for going on 18 years now. And to date, direct mail is still a huge source of fundraising for nonprofits. So something I started toying with, because we have the Broligarchs controlling a lot of the cyberspace, and I am building out the 1A Collective, which is on a server that is outside the United States. And that's going to be available hopefully by the end of the year for everyone to move their content there, to have a safe space to store content and everything. But right now we're dealing with the here and now and what we can do in this moment. And I do think that direct mail is something that we have been grossly overlooking in terms of organizing, because you can buy mailing lists based off just about any demographic. If you want every redhead who was born in the year 1987, you can buy a mailing list for that, right? So we can target mailing list. And I even posited the idea of everywhere where they're building a detention center, taking an aerial photograph and putting a star over that person's neighborhood and saying, this is the detention center, this is you. And on the back, putting photos of detainees being treated poorly, or children in zip ties, and like driving that point home. Or
Like
if you want to talk about their politic, a direct mail, a postcard that says, are your grocery bills too high, in red on the front, and you turn it over. Here are 3 actionable things you can do to, in terms of addressing our government's interference in our economic situation. So direct mail is but that's something that costs money. It costs money to do the printing. It costs money to buy those mailing lists. But in terms of efficacy, the nonprofit industry is still showing that direct mail is the most effective form of fundraising. And I think we are
that information.
to tap into that.
That'll be good for us.
We're going to tap into that.
We'll tap into that. Shane, what you're saying, like with the bots, right, on the internet, what we're seeing is that, and like I said in the first lives that we've ever went on together, Banner and Backbone, hate is always louder. Rather, even if it is bots or real human beings, it's always louder. And Zev, what you're saying about it's only going to get worse. The economy is going to crash eventually. What we're seeing with the AI bubble, just like the .com bubble in 2000, Gavin has a lot to say about that. And I honestly think it's a good topic for what we're talking about how this is going to escalate and why we need these organizing efforts to really fight back.
Well, not only
Yeah.
that, right? Like there's the digital aspect and the digital consequences of AI, but also the physical, right? With data centers and the tribulations we've seen from that. I mean, Senate America worked with a nonprofit in St. Charles, where we're based, to shut down a data center project from being built right outside of Sherrod's house. Like it's
That's
about
a win.
identifying these issues.
Huge.
It's about identifying the problems both on the digital and physical space, because we have two realities now. And being able to target those problems directly and cause change to positively turn the tides to our favor. And we see a lot of similarities right now with the .com, or with the AI bubble, to the .com bubble. And anybody around during that time, I was not, can tell you that it feels very similar. I've been talking to a bunch of people about the relationship that the .com bubble had with the economy, and how that shifted a lot of what the economy looked like moving forward in Bush's administration, similar to what's going to happen right now with the AI bubble and a lot of the gray legal area that has been continuously taken advantage of through these companies.
Well, yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
there's this environment. Go ahead, Sherrod.
It's the importance of centered policy is a lot of people think that being centered means being just capitulating to Trump. We've been kind of hammering down on this topic that no, being center is social democratic policies. It's not the institutions of the Democratic or Republican parties. It's the disillusionment of those parties that leads us to be centered, which is we want an equal path to life for everyone, to have incentives, to have free and affordable healthcare, free education, be able to actually get by in life, being
And
able
live a
to have
dignified life as well.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier on live with Nick and Shane. Since the inception of Senate America, we've consistently focused on this idea: people over party. We are focused on helping the people, not the parties.
It's
And
such a
that's why our mission statement is realigning and reforming this message, because we're for the people. This country is the people and the amazing communities here, and not the party.
You guys have got a great opportunity. I've got to jump off. So let me just say this.
Yeah.
There's a movement here that needs to be built. You guys are all very powerful leaders in your world. You might be, starting smaller organizations, but these organizations can grow quickly. My only thing, having done this, and I come at this from a journalist, I'm not a political activist. I did the investigation, I did the research into this. I know that the only thing that's worked or has a better chance of working is a sustainable protest built on issues that are achievable. And I think if you can figure out what those issues are, and even this group of people, if you started organizing around those issues, you will find people will coalesce. As long as you build the right coalitions, and as long as you stay on target with the kind of roles and responsibilities you each have, I think people will find you, because you can feel it in the air. I mean, this regime is not good for America, and what they're doing to the economy is going to be a disaster. I've been tracking 50 years now of crimes after crimes after crimes. All these crashes, the .com crash you mentioned, the 2008 crash, the 1987 crash, those were all engineered crashes created by a elite group of people and foreigners and God knows whom, to try and tank the market, to crash the economy so they can benefit from picking up all the stuff after at reduced rates, at reduced costs. And then also they took advantage of the bailout. We've been seeing $40 trillion to $70 trillion of theft taken out of people's American dreams and out of the American treasury. We need to address this, and the only way to address this is through a centered or a central movement of the mass of the population. The majority of the people are in the middle; they're not on the extremes. Trying to capture all of that and driving that home to this regime, I think, is so critical. And I applaud you guys for finding that space already, and I hope you keep doing it. I hope you can find enough of an organization within all of this to extend the number of people and to build a network. And I'll be happy to help where I can.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Jeff.
Thank you, Zev.
I've got to jump
Appreciate
off,
it
guys.
so much,
I-
Zev. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Okay, cheers.
And please, to anyone in the audience, if you haven't, if you're on Twitch or YouTube with us, subscribe to Zev. Use the QR code that's on the screen for him, and go be free or paid with Zev. He's awesome. His work is incredible. Gavin, I think you'd have a great conversation with him around the bubble aspect, and you and Shane. I think the three of you would have a really interesting monetary conversation around that, and how that influences a lot of the decisions and stuff that's going on, and crashes and how they're manipulated. He does a lot of good investigative work that you guys do too.
I
so.
literally just messaged him because he was talking. I'm like, dude, we got to talk, because those of you who follow me know I spend so much time staring at these reports, and they're fucking fudging the numbers. Like, it's worse than it is. It's so much worse than it is. Like,
Did you see the numbers that I posted yesterday on the cargo ships? So
No.
I drive by the port of Virginia every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And so I was driving by 3 days ago and I was like, wow, it looks really low, like really empty. So I get home and it's all public information. So I get on the Port Authority's website, and you guys, every one of the biggest ports in America has brought in between 32 and over 60% less imports this month.
Yeah. This trade
And
deal
I
with
went
China.
back and checked other Octobers. I checked. We haven't seen a decrease like this since COVID.
Yeah.
Inflation's up more than it ever has been since COVID.
Yeah.
Unemployment's at its lowest since COVID, or at its highest since COVID. And I mean, like Shane, you know what Zev was saying about the specific individual actions that we can take. You are so extremely good at getting people to go, here's this action, let's do it. The petitions that you're doing, the projects that you've been focused on, calling, you know, filling those voicemail boxes of these construction companies, McCreary Architecture, like that is so useful, and it's so important right now with our organizing efforts to actually have those specific items to really rally against and protest against.
That's what kills me when I look at these bigger organizations and I think it's free. It's free to put out a phone number for a network that has is the largest podcast in the world and has unseated the Joe Rogan show. It's free. It's free for them to go ahead and say, this is the phone number, call them. It's
Or here's
free.
a move on.
Call your fucking
campaign.
representatives. Yeah,
Here's a move on campaign that you can sign to unseat Mike Johnson. Like
what is
Exactly.
the only excuse? And actually, was it who said it? Like American exceptionalism? That was you, Melissa. The only excuse for that kind of behavior is American exceptionalism. It's I have a brand, I'm competing, and I want to sit on top of the new media kingdom. Like and especially because for what happened and what you guys saw, I got a response from Midas Touch Network. They responded to me after I came. I went on a little bit of a bender, and I
called them out.
I called them out, and
Shane, you went
Rightfully
hard.
so.
And you know what? I responded to them.
Mhm.
Crickets.
And
What's up, Midas?
it's
What's
very
up? We asked you to be transparent. What's up?
And
You
we're
know,
not
like-
asking for anything more than we are doing. Like
Yes.
we're being
Exactly.
transparent. Like we're on this show right now. We talked some great questions with Dean and Zev, and they gave us incredible information. And one of the things we even did was announce the idea earlier today too of collaborative subscriber sharing and become a reciprocal subscriber sharing between Banner and Backbone and Centered America, which is something we are actively working on because that boosts both our numbers. That makes us stronger as a group. Go subscribe to Dean. Go subscribe to Zev. Melissa's not in the link on this one, which really sucked. But I'm going to bring everybody's QR codes up here in a moment. I want to get us to close out the show here in a sec because it's nighttime. I got kids. I want to go hang out with my family.
As you should.
But I have two videos from the Save America project that Dean Blundell has on his site on deanblundell.substack.com on one of his articles. I'm going to pull them up and I'm going to play them. They're from the Save America project. They're a minute long each. These are the videos that have been going around and are punching back and are starting to see how we can punch back in a simple way from groups like that. And then what we're doing right now is how we can punch back as a smaller set of groups, how we can punch back as the 600 people that are watching us right now. Like with 600 of you, if every one of you hit the subscribe button, as well as go to Counter Story Media and subscribe to Melissa Corrigan, if every single one of you did that, that's 600 people that are possibly half of you guys are not our subscribers yet, I bet. Or half of you are subscribed to one of us, but not the other. Like we build this community together, and if other groups aren't going to pick up the torch and run with it, Shane is going to be the firebrand who picks up that fucking torch and runs with it, and that's what he does. And we're going to start restacking and having Shane post those on Banner and Backbone as posts that we can blast out and cross post, and we're going to see if we can help with getting Centered America to do the same thing, because it's advocacy
all
work.
over the place. We will be putting that out as much as we
Yeah.
can, because Shane does amazing work. I mean,
Thank you.
seriously,
Appreciate
hats off to you, man. Seriously.
And it's very similar to the before we get into the videos, I'll just very quick. It's very similar to a campaign we did a little while ago, where we asked our subscriber base to write letters to the Smithsonian to bring back the impeachment exhibit. And when they wrote letters, it was tons of people, and they brought it back. And I don't know if it's because of our subscriber base, but it's because of people focusing on the issue, talking, emailing, and getting them to reverse their actions. And so I think what we're going to start doing is putting a daily action every day in our newsletter. It's something we did before, which is the Centered America Daily Actions, where it's an action a day. It could be community building. It could be, targeting something. It could be putting social pressure on an organization. But every day we'll have something for you to do, all of our subscribers. So that'll be great.
An action a
And
day keeps fascism away.
Hell yeah. And we'll be working on some direct mailer campaigns, I think.
Yeah,
with
hit me up
that
on
was
Centered
that,
definitely
because I
America.
got a
great
laundry
suggestion there,
list.
Melissa. Thank you for the input on that. That was we're gonna take that and run with it for sure.
So with that, let's switch over to these two great videos from the Save America Project and Save America movement that's going on, that Dean Blundell is helping support and blast out.
Here,
I
got
believe these are.
Let me grab my petition while everyone's here. I'll put it in
Oh,
the
hell
chat.
yeah.
There's 600 of you. If anyone who's in America, sign this petition. Just like it's very simple.
Let's do
Get
it.
rid of Mike Johnson. Like,
Yeah, do it. Put it in our private chat too, Shane, for
Okay.
us, and I'll
Yeah, you
add
can
it
do a
as a
QR
QR
code for it.
code on the screen for it before the
Mhm.
show is over while we're watching the videos.
let me grab that.
So I'm going to switch us over. Our faces will stay on the screen. We'll just try not to talk too much while the video is going on. They're pretty short. They're a minute long each. Stick with us, and then we'll close out the show for everyone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's been freaking awesome. I love having you guys here. I love having this team together. I'm so excited to be able to have Dean and Zev with us. Lev was not able to make it because he's taking some time off. He needed time off. He needed to get away, and he needed to relax. So thank God Lev is not with us tonight, because as much as I wish he was, he needs the time. He needs to recoup, because he's really important right now. So also make sure to go follow Lev Parnas too, if you have not already. So here you go, my friends. We're going to watch some great videos, starting with our great Statue of Liberty.
The torch of Lady Liberty symbolizes our freedom and represents our heritage, the compact with our parents, our grandparents, and our ancestors. It is that lady who gives us our great and special place in the world. For it's the great life force of each generation of new Americans that guarantees that America's triumph shall continue unsurpassed into the next century and beyond. Thanks to each wave of new arrivals to this land of opportunity, we're a nation forever young, forever bursting with energy and new ideas, and always on the cutting edge, always leading the world to the next frontier. This quality is vital to our future as a nation. If we ever closed the door to new Americans, our leadership in the world would soon be lost. Those who become American citizens love this country even more, and that's why the Statue of Liberty lifts her lamp to welcome them to the Golden Door.
That was our first, my friends. That's pretty powerful just by itself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like Reagan, and it's
was
good to
good
hear his
speaker.
words.
he was a good speaker. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Yeah. One, we got rid of one good actor as a president who was a bad president, and then got a bad actor who's also a bad president.
Yeah.
And just made it worse. And here's our final one. Thanks again, everyone. And this is also, again, this is from the Save America movement. Please go help support them. Steve Schmidt, Dean Blundell is helping with that and getting word out on their stuff, and we're sharing too.
America counts many friends across the globe. Surely we have no better friend than Canada. I came to this great capital of this great nation by crossing a border not which divides us, but a border which joins us. Our friend, our ally, our partner, and our neighbor, Canada and the United States, have always worked together to build a world with peace and stability, a world of freedom and dignity for all people. Though we share bilateral interests with countries throughout the world, none exceeds the economic, cultural, and security interests that we share with you. Final word to the people of Canada. We're happy to be your neighbor. We want to remain your friend. We're determined to be your partner, and we're intent on working closely with you in a spirit of cooperation. We are much more than an acquaintance.
Powerful right there. And I'm glad we had Dean on tonight to be able to share with us from the Canadian side and see his perspective. And so we're going to close out our show tonight. I'm going to give everyone that's on here a moment to sell themselves, promote our networks and our what we do. Please come subscribe. There is going to be a QR code right now on the top left-hand corner of your screen. It's going to be there on the next screen. I'll make sure it gets pulled up too. That is for Shane's petition for the move on to remove Speaker Mike Johnson from his speakership and unseat him. We can force petitions like this to happen and make the Democratic establishment actually do stuff and make the Republicans actually do stuff. Citizen-led petitions are half of the battle. We need to show that democracy works by flooding the zone with democracy. So work with Shane's petition, help sign it, blow it up. He's got a couple really good ones out there. So let's switch over. First, we got our friend Zev Shalev. Make sure to go find him at narrative.org. Subscribe to all his work. He does some amazing stuff, some amazing investigative work. And he's just a great guy to come hang out with and be part of this incredible community and be a part of what we do. So thanks for Zev for joining us. Again, we also have Dean Blundell. Go to deanblundell.substack.com, scan that QR code. Go follow Dean. His work is incredible. He is a neighbor of the North who is our silver fox, our friend, and a fantastic guy who just wants to make sure that America stays a free state too. And a free country too. And next, she's not listed on the show, unfortunately, so we didn't get her sub base in here and notified, but it's the amazing Melissa Corrigan. Sell yourself, my friend.
Okay, so I've been working on exposing each one of the 10 directives that Pete laid out at his Let's Call All the Admirals Fat meeting that he had. And the reason that, and I've also dug into the NDA, and that's going to start rolling out. And a lot of that seems like a lot of really dry material, but I think it's super important that civilians understand what's going on in our military, that there are momentous, some of them unprecedented changes going on with our military, programs being established that are highly concerning. Long held norms that are being disposed of that are highly concerning. And the reason that I write about these and I break them down into pretty easy to digest pieces is so that you can go talk to your congressmen and senators about that material. Because a lot of our senators are sitting on committees, defense committees, subcommittees that are over the armed forces, and they have the power to question these people on camera in front of congressional, inquiries about the changes that they're implementing and bringing them to light. So the reason that I cover these things and break them down into civilian terms is so you can quite easily take that content and go turn around and call your congressman and say, why the fuck did we let Pete Hegseth do this? And I want you to confront him and ask him why this is okay for our military to be doing. And I like the idea of the action items. I've kind of fallen off. I used to include an action item in the bottom of every one of my newsletters, and I'm going to get back on that. And I think Banner and Backbone collectively, I think we need to send out a weekly one with all of our action items. Everybody here we should all get a laundry list, just a checklist that every one of our subscribers can do all of it.
Yeah,
Love it.
everybody, if you want to, just go to Google. It's a great tool. Look up Clark Construction. Okay, Clark Construction. They're the guys who are building the White House. I found that they have a form that you can submit if you are interested in inquiring to be a business partner. Well, you know, those forms, they all go somewhere. So what you could do is put your name as a concerned citizen, put the address of the White House, fill out that form with a bunch of every empty space, something telling them how they're participating in the illegal destruction and building of a imperial palace on the
I mean, we are all their business partners though, because our taxpayers are literally paying for that. I mean, let's not bullshit. Let's not fall into any bullshit. Our tax dollars are paying for that. So we are business partners.
Yeah. So then go and fill out that form, and then every time they're going to get a bunch of notifications saying that they just received 639 business inquiries. And they're going to have to look at every single one of those.
Even with AI filters, they have to look at them in case the AI is wrong. And it costs money. Every one of those emails, every one of those API server calls that they have to make costs money. Fractions of a cent add up real quick when millions of people all of a sudden flood your mailbox. It's called a DDoS attack. It is, you are doing a domain attack and flooding the zone with democracy. I fucking love this idea. God damn it, we are turning into white hat hackers, and I don't want to do that. We're not hacking anybody. That is not what we're doing. We're just communicating publicly through your forms. And we're just gonna flood the zone with democracy.
We
took up Melissa's time here.
Sorry,
this is all to promote Melissa Corrigan. All to promote Melissa Corrigan.
What are we doing here? That's what we're doing.
Sorry,
that's what we're doing. We're promoting Melissa Corrigan right here.
I do not care. This is the point. This is what we're all doing here together.
Yes.
We're going to fill out one of those forms and then bait people out to think that we're actually trying to have a business inquiry, and then that's when we're going to drop the email.
Absolutely. You do live streams.
Be creative. Be creative.
Do live streams.
Do a live stream.
Live stream it. All right. So we've got Senator America on the screen now for our QR code. Gavin, Sherrod, give us some more info on you guys and how people can support here too.
I'll give the rundown that we've memorized. Senator America is a 501c4 nonprofit organization. We're incorporated in St. Louis, but we're a nationwide organization. We're defending democracy, we're resisting authoritarianism, and we're giving out resources to the people. And we put out a news brief every single day, sometimes twice a day, to make sure that you all are informed and get the resources you need. And we're going to start putting daily actions in those as well. Gavin?
Yeah, I just want to say through fundraising and stuff, we've been able to help so many different communities and individuals. And if you want to be a part of that, we're still doing pre-orders for T-shirts that directly help communities that need it the most, including veterans. And if you'd like to go purchase a T-shirt, just go to our website at www.centeredamerica.org and learn a little bit more about us, who we are, what we're trying to do. And, I just want to say thank you. Today's a pretty big day for us at Centered America. We hit 10,000 subscribers on Substack. We're super excited about that, and we cannot do that with all of you guys. You're such an amazing community. Thank you for everybody who's watching right now. We can't do any of the amazing work that we're able to do without you guys.
Yeah. I'm going to switch over to you, my brother, Shane.
As you guys have been here, I'm Shane. I am the founder of the Firebrand Project. I'm noisy, I'm verbose. I have a lot of strong opinions, and I love our democracy. And I am lucky enough to know all these people. I used to write a lot more than I do, but I am trying to, get my 2 articles out a week. Thank you for scanning that QR code. I see you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we see you.
Thank
We see you
I
scanning those
see you.
codes.
I hope you're scanning that petition. You can find me elsewhere. I want you scanning that petition.
Yeah, scan that small QR code.
Yeah, scan the one in the corner. But I'm doing a lot of different stuff. One of the things I do is daily reporting. So if you're interested in basically a really nice mix of, highlighted events with geopolitics, domestic politics, and kind of putting together the web of bullshit that they're trying to weave around us, that's what I do. That's what I try really hard to do. I just started writing. I published my 3rd article on my drone warfare series in Ukraine, and I've been writing it, and I'm super passionate about it, and I love it. And a lot of people aren't reading it, and that's okay because I do it because I love it. But you could go and read it. The most recent article is out there, and it's cool. You'll enjoy it. You'll learn something. And you could support me by doing that today as well. But make sure you become subscribers to each and every person who was in this live stream today. Make sure you look out for those action items from Centered America. And, it's just great. There's so many folks from Canada here, right? Well, the great thing about something like an email inquiry is you could be in Romania. You could be in Antarctica. The penguins. If we could get keyboards in front of the penguins, he tariffed the penguins. Let's get the penguins involved. So everybody can get in on this. So we can win. Like they just don't want us to think we're as smart as, they want us to think they're smarter. They're not. We got it. And it starts here with everyone in this room. And super grateful to everyone being here. Come check me out at the Firebrand Project. All forms of subscription are appreciated. And I hope you can make it to visit us at Banner and Backbone, Firebrand Project next time.
Sweet. Thanks, brother. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Centered America. Thanks, Melissa, Gavin, Sherrod. I'm going to promote myself now.
Do it.
Come over to Sick of This Shit Publications with me, y'all. I do poetry. I focus on chronic health issues, veterans issues, and that's where I'm really putting my focus on the Sick of This Shit publication side are those 2 main areas of chronic health and veterans issues. Those are tackling masculinity and pieces like that, but it's mainly about that. I do poetry. I do shows every week. I am so excited with all the work that we're doing. We just hit 5,000 subs the other day, where I think it was 5,000 subs. I might be wrong. I believe it was. And it was great. I'm so excited for all the growth. And I'm having such good conversations. Join me tomorrow. I'm talking to Wajahat Ali from The Left Hook with Shane Urich in the morning. The petition, for anyone who missed it, it's in the top left-hand corner of the screen right next to my head with the words "Move On" underneath. You can scan it. It's going to be in the show note. It's going to be in the show notes and on video after if you want to watch the replay. Just if you've already seen, but you want to get the QR code, like I said, show notes or just fast forward in the replay and you'll be able to get to this point with the QR code up on the screen. And for me, I'm also running a sale, 50% off my stuff until the end of the month. So until the end of Halloween. So come join me. And then finally, come join Banner and Backbone. Come join the network itself. Come join, be part of this big movement, be part of this community and this group who want to actually see change, who want to do more than just sit around and watch the change happen, who want to be part of the change, who want to know how to be involved, want to know where to get information, want to know where to find all of the Move On links that Shane is putting together and all the direct action and free civic engagement that you can take. Shane's putting up shit all the time for that. Shane's putting up stuff all the time. We're going to be blasting that out. That is the home of Banner and Backbone. That's what
I'm going to send my White House article too, because I got all the tea on who's doing the White House in an article.
Repost it on Banner and Backbone.
Yeah, so I'll get that. I'll put that on my list of things to do tomorrow. But there's all and just to tell you guys how awesome you are. We shot up 80 signatures since that QR code went on the screen on
Hell
the
yeah.
petition.
Awesome.
80.
That's
We're almost
awesome.
to 192, which means that Move On is going to have to start to rank it on the page itself. So these things, they
Awesome.
start to work for themselves once you get momentum. So like you guys doing this kind of action, it kickstarts the algorithm, right? It's using us, our thumbs and our screens. We can train the machine to do as we please. Just like they turn it against us, we can turn it against them.
Exactly. And so, everyone, thank you so freaking much for joining us, for being here with us for almost an hour and a half, for getting to see Dean and Zev, and hanging out with me, Shane, Sherrod, Gavin, and Melissa. It's been such a freaking awesome time. I've had a blast. So much support in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Smash that heart one more time. It helps get this out too. Once we go live, it blasts it out. I'll even do my special little heart that'll show up on the screen because I love you all, because you're freaking awesome, because the Banner and Backbone community makes America great. You want to know what really makes America great? People like you, the Banner and Backbone community. So let's go out there and let's fucking do it. Let's stop letting fascism take over and let's flood the zone with democracy. I think that's going to be my new tagline. Flood the zone with democracy. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see y'all again soon.
Thank you, guys.